of the jacket, please.
Hello, my name is Amanda Proctor, and I am a candidate for the office of Assistant Principal Chief of the tribe. For those of you who don't know, there was a primary election that occurred on March 10th that narrowed the field for the chief and assistant chief races to 2 candidates per race, and I am one of those 2 who are continuing to vie for that office. I want to thank you all for being here today. Thank the Texas Osage Association for hosting us. Thank Jim Ryan for moderating this event. And I'm, for one, I'm glad to be home. I was actually born in Dallas here in 1975, and I spent the first few years of my life in Dallas. I lived in an apartment on Turtle Creek Boulevard, and my father worked as a laborer for one of the developers of residential housing here in Dallas, so it's good to be back. I'm a graduate of Harvard University. I have a bachelor's degree in anthropology. I attended law school at Notre Dame and the University of Tulsa. I possess certificates in Native American law and oil and gas law. I've been a practicing attorney for approximately 9 years. I work as outside legal counsel for numerous Indian tribes in the state of Oklahoma. We work for as many as 12 tribes at a given time. The number varies because sometimes we come in and perform special projects such as advising a tribe on a casino refinancing package or helping a tribe draft policies or procedures or law and order codes. I was the president of the Osage County Bar Association for 2 years. During my term as president, the Osage County Bar Association was named the Outstanding County Bar Association in the state of Oklahoma for the first time. I was also designated as the Outstanding Native American Alumnus of Harvard last year and designated a super lawyer in the state of Oklahoma, which is a peer designation, so that comes from other attorneys, and I was one of 2 lawyers of Native American descent who were given that distinction. I believe that all 3 of the questions that were posed to the candidates for Congress and Assistant Chief pertain to money and the mismanagement thereof. The removal trial, it's my understanding, cost the nation as much as $1 million in legal fees. I'm not part of the government. That may not be a completely correct characterization, but it cost a lot of money. And that was money that was accumulated by attorneys serving the legislative branch and the executive branch, and perhaps money that could have been plowed to a more productive activity. The LLC, that's an election issue from my race, and I would encourage you to look closely at the voting records of some of the individuals who have continuously promoted that entity and plowed money to that entity. It is an election issue, and I don't think you can put lipstick on a pig by suddenly saying we have new members on the board. I think that money should be spent on direct services and benefits for our members. And to address Ms. Whitehorn's question, again, as I said earlier, I was born here in Texas. I was raised in Kansas. I have been living in Osage County for approximately 9 years, but the majority of my life I spent away from the reservation. So I am sensitive to both the perspective of the on-reservation Osage and the Osage who lives out of state. The health benefit card is perhaps the only benefit, I guess perhaps along with the scholarship, that does reach out-of-state members. I believe that the health benefit should be increased with additional step increases for elderly and handicapped persons. I also support per capita payments on a limited basis. I know, because I've helped other tribes in this regard, I know that the National Indian Gaming Commission and the Department of the Interior have authorized per capita payments only for elderly members of the tribe. And the theory is that elderly members of the tribe have not been able to benefit from the tribe the way that younger people have. Younger people have daycare benefits available, they have scholarship opportunities available, and older people have nothing except, sadly, the burial benefit, which they can't avail themselves of until it's too late. So it is possible, permissible, and legal to make per capita distributions of gaming revenue only for elderly members of the tribe. We would have to do some research, figure out whether elderly means 55 or 62 or 65, and what exactly percentage of gaming revenue we could devote to that purpose, but it is something that I support. Congresswoman Buffalohead earlier mentioned the Fletcher case, and I just wanted to point out that Mr. Charles Pratt is here. He drove with me from Osage County to be here today, and he is one of the two named plaintiffs in that case, and we find it very interesting that Congress has already decided how to allocate the revenue from that case when I guess that's the first of our hearing of that potential action. I'm also an attorney of record on that case. I have worked on that case for the last 10 years, 2 years as a law clerk before I even became a lawyer, and 1 year, 9 years as one of the attorneys of record. That case has been up to the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals twice. Twice the United States Circuit Court of Appeals has remanded the case and found in favor of our two named plaintiffs, Mr. Pratt and Mr. Bill Fletcher, who are not here today. That is the only case that I know of that has successfully been received with a good outcome for the Indian plaintiffs at the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals in recent history, and I know it's the only case involving our tribe, because our tribe spent millions of dollars on a couple of different lawsuits, the United States versus Irby case dealing with our tax status, and I believe there have been other cases involving eagles and windmills and various other issues, none of which have made it past the pretrial motion stage. And my legal team, working without compensation, have been able to achieve that sort of a victory, not once but twice. And those two cases, both reported at the appellate level, have been instrumental not just for our tribe, but for other tribes. The first case, which would have been the first Fletcher appeal, finding that the United States government did not have sovereign immunity with respect to our sort of an equitable claim, which many other tribes have used to advance their interests. And the second decision finding that the United States government bore a fiduciary trust responsibility not only to Indian tribes as tribal entities, but also to individual members of tribes. Again, very far-reaching implications for those two decisions. I have absentee ballot request forms with me today. I have the capability to take an image of your photo ID. If you want to apply for an absentee ballot today, please see me. I can help you with that process. I will hand deliver your ballot request forms for you. I have forms for the mineral election as well as the general election. So I would encourage everyone to vote. I thank everyone for their attention, and I'm glad to be home.